I move to open the select board meeting of August 11th, 2025 at 5:30 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 This meeting is being recorded by Marshfield Community Media. It is permissible for others to record this meeting. If anyone else is recording this meeting, could you please notify the select board now? I invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I don't have any comments for myself. The town administrator is out today, so there's no administrator report. Public comments. Trish, could you grab those, please? Oh, first one.
Simple to sign in one.
Oh, please, good.
No pressure. So maybe just want to keep over again.
Yeah.
Who's on deck?
Steve, you ready?
I am.
And then Martine Anderson's going to be next.
Steve Lynch, 50 Central Street. So I don't want to be a party pooper, but we can, as citizens, get together and get 100 signatures and get an article on town meeting to reverse this drinking in public revision that we had at the last town meeting. But I think that Board of Selectmen could make it easy on us because they just have to write it. You don't have to go out and get 100 signatures. And I think we need to rethink drinking in public. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Martine Anderson. Next up is Maria Maggio.
Hi, Martine Anderson, Weathervane Lane. I'm not sure exactly what's going on tonight, but there was a rumor that the Board of Selectmen were going to try and change the membership of many committees in town. And I think it's interesting that one would want to do that, and that's okay. It's very honorable. My experience with the town since being on the advisory board way back about, 50 years ago, that every time your term is up after every 3 years, you just try and get somebody to take your place. It's very difficult. It's hard for people to take time out from their lives. They commute to Boston and that sort of thing. So the idea that you would try to replace many people on a board is kind of a concern. But aside from this business of trying to get more people to do it, if you don't have members of a committee from year to year through the years of their services, you lose the history and the work that a person has gone into to try and understand exactly what it is, the aim of the committee that you are on, what their charter is, how best you can serve the people of Marshfield. Everybody that I've ever worked with on any committee has devoted themselves to making Marshfield better. And the idea that you want to replace a bunch of people who have served us and served the town well, and one point I want to make is, if you think the same people are on the same committees year after year after year, it has a lot to do with nobody wants to take your place. You're doing a good enough job, according to the town, so why replace you? Besides that, when you ask somebody to leave and you ask more than maybe one or two, you lose the history that person understands and knows, the people that they've dealt with. When I first served on the advisory board, I was with Roberta Danielle. I was on for 2 terms. We worked exclusively with the DPW. Now, finding out all of the things that the DPW does, all of the things they're responsible for, took years. And I can tell you that the people who are on the committees have experience, they've worked for the good of the town, and they have served as well. Thank you.
Maria Maggio. Thank you, Martine.
Hi, Maria Maggio, 170 Standish Street. I'm the vice chair of the COA board and have been for, I think now this is my 4th year. I certainly appreciate the goal, what I perceive as the goal of getting more people, a broader, diverse group of people on the various boards in the town. I think that's a very healthy thing to encourage wider participation. I am a little concerned about the timing and the process and how disruptive it would be. I think up till now, people have had the perception that it's been tradition that if you're doing a good job and you apply to reappoint, you have continuity. I know with our board, our chair is up for reappointment. So, we do the committee assignments in January. We have very active committees that are subcommittees that are busily working on important things for the elderly community of Marshfield. And it could just be very disruptive. I think if we want a new process that encourages more turnover, more people participating, I think that's a great idea. I just would like to see it done in a more constructive way that's not going to be detrimental to the people of Marshfield. So for this year, I'd respectfully request you renew. I know with us, we have 2 alternates and 2 existing members that have applied for reappointment. No disrespect to the new people. We'd love to have them come in, participate in subcommittees, volunteer at the COA, and we'd love to have you. As Martine says, we're always looking for more people who want to take an active role in the senior center and help the folks in Marshfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave Carrier.
David Carrier, 34 Outlook Road. Actually, the reason for my attendance is been taken care of because I understand we did get our 100+ signatures certified for the citizens petition regarding modification to how we're managing the town meeting votes on the unpaved private ways. Steve Contos couldn't make it tonight because he is unfortunately suffering with a gastrointestinal situation that is confined him for 4 days. I would like to point out that we still have an additional 48 signatures we could submit that were done by his wife, and I have a few additional ones. And any additional questions or concerns as you go forward to write the piece for the town meeting agenda, I will be happy to come in with Steve and work with you in any way, shape, or form you need.
Thank you, Dave. Pam Keith.
Pam Keith, Smoke Hill Ridge. I just want to comment on the event/rental policy that you're contemplating, which is first on the agenda tonight, that will possibly monetize public land. I just want to say that I hope, I know you've already gotten a couple of emails from me, I hope you're not planning to go forward and consider this like a popularity contest. Who wants it, who doesn't, who thinks it's a good idea. I really do think, I feel very strongly, which is why I want to say it again, that town-owned land is governed by laws, not popularity, not who wants to use it, not who thinks there might be a good event to have there or something like that. You do have to look at laws first, and I just feel like the policy seemed to not be built. First of all, there is no policy. It kind of was just bulleted like a list of notes, so there really, it wasn't an actual full policy there. But it seemed like it was being planned from the top down, like you had the final, then the person doing the presenting had the final goal in mind. But to me, it should be land, you look at the land itself and what's the use of it, how did it come about, what laws govern it, who governs it, and especially public access. The couple of things that I've sent you are about state laws, which are just general use laws say we hold land for public access or public use. And all of your tidelands laws, your coastal tidelands laws, our zoning law allows a passive park in the residential zone, but that's it. Doesn't even by right allow a playground. You need a special permit for that. So you need to look at the laws that govern the land. I think that special events are one thing, but too many special events become a change of use of the land. And so I think that anything that changes the public access or the use of the land is too much, and that it's wrong, so that you should keep that in mind when creating policy. And I think you should almost kind of start over and start from the bottom up.
Thank you, Pam. Greg Kai.
Greg Kai, Canal Street, also Chair of the Library Board of Trustees, but I'm speaking as a private citizen tonight. Honesty, ethics, and efficiency are bedrocks of our town government and our whole system. Tonight on the agenda, you as a board are going to have a discussion item about government efficiency. I think this board needs to get its act together first. Waiting 5 months and posting town board renewals several times with no action is not efficient. 5-hour meetings to go over a simple agenda are not efficient. Waiting 5 months for a new town administrator and a board is definitely not efficient. Bringing our chief directly before the board and not going to human resources first, knowing full well you would use executive session, is not efficient and not right. Not handling the chief's counter complaint with that same urgency is not honest, and it's definitely not efficient or proper. Let's get the business of the town done in an efficient manner before you can examine government efficiency. And I also am very concerned that on many of these board appointments, they had funds, which is perfectly legal, donated to certain candidates and now get attention. It just feels like patronage to me, and I hope that's not the case. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Laurie Sweeney.
Lori Sweeney, 119 Marginal Street. Action item 20, board and committee appointments. The select board should prioritize candidates who offer specialized skills, knowledge, or experience. At minimum, they should be registered voters, and they should have a query check done, as has been done in the past. There should be no appearance of political patronage or conflict of interest, and there is. Applicant for Board of Appeals, TA Search Committee, Joseph Pekovich. I only have 2 minutes, so I can only do a couple. Plymouth Superior Court, Pekovich versus Select Board, including Mr. Kelly. Case open, reopened. 2 previous claims, Pekovich versus Zoning Board of Appeals, both closed, judgment for the defendant, ZBA. 8/31 Select Board meeting, 8/31/2023 Select Board meeting. In Mr. Kelly's own words, everyone knows Joe is my friend, so I'm a no vote. 6/30/25 Select Board meeting, Chief Tavares asked if Kelly would recuse. Kelly response, I will participate. 2-1 vote, no action against the chief. Kelly nay, Simpson, Darcy yay. Applicant for multiple boards, Stephen Lynch. 6/16/25 There was an incident after the select board meeting. You can read it, the story on Substack with Christine Hill. And lastly, I would say the mantra for Mr. Kelly and Ms. Simpson has been transparency, no rubber stamping, and fresh perspectives. I and other citizens of Marshfield request that the select board share qualifications this evening and experience of candidates, and disclose your relationship with candidates and financial donations. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie. Janice Fletcher.
Janice Fletcher, 32 Bay Point Path. I listened to the June Select Board meeting, hoping that I would be reappointed as I applied to the Select Board in the usual fashion, the way it's supposed to be done.
And I guess I just assumed because Mr. Darcy appointed me back in 2022 that I would be reappointed. And so I was very surprised to wake up this morning and find that I had to come here and beg to be put back on the Council on Aging. The reason I went on it was not a power thing. Again, no power behind it. Carol Hamilton called me several times over a few months asking me to serve on the board. And I feel like I'm qualified. My mother and I exercise together. We have 4 decades of people of this population that goes to the senior center with the Council on Aging behind it. I've been on several committees. I've been the secretary. I'm up for to be reappointed. I'm currently serving as the chairperson. And you have no idea how complicated it is. I was very nervous when I first went because we had people like Sheila and Martine and some very experienced people on the board, and I learned so much. And you should see the notebooks I have. You know, this is not an easy position. You just don't come in and sit at the table. There is a lot of work. There's also a lot of fellowship that goes on. I'm also the liaison for the boosters, but I also volunteer in other places. I'm a volunteer person. I volunteered at the Sowing Seeds for 20 years. I've been a Eucharistic minister for 25 years, and I was a school volunteer, so volunteering is what I do. But again, I have to tell you, it's what I do. It's not because of power. It's because I'm willing to serve. And I don't think anyone has asked me for my qualifications, and I'd be glad to read them, but you don't have time. You never ask, what's my background? Do you know? And I have to wonder if you care. But keep in mind that the person who does sit, if you decide not to reappoint me, is going to have a whole lot to learn. And it's not an easy job. So I appreciate your time, but again, I'm just shocked. When I woke up this morning, I did not think I'd be standing here talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Ben, I can't make out your last name. I apologize.
I am Ben Van Bennick, 141 Elm Street. I currently serve on the board at the Senior Center. I also volunteer there in a couple of different capacities. I was a bus escort for a number of years. I teach classes there. I'm a technology assistance volunteer. And back in February, March or so, I received a letter saying I was up for reappointment. Fill out this form, bring it in. I did that, handed it to the town clerk. Never heard a word until I heard about the rumor that's been going around now. And I think it's pretty sad that I have to hear about it through rumors and through Facebook versus directly from the select board on what the current status is. And as far as qualifications goes, when I joined the board, I submitted my resume. I went through an orientation. I went through an appointment. Everything was cool at that point in time, and now I hear rumors about everyone's going to be replaced that are on boards because maybe you have better people in the wings. So I'm anxious to see those and hear about those people. I'm also anxious to hear about why my reappointment wasn't made when it should have been made. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Sheila Gagnon.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for inviting us here. If you didn't, well, we're here anyway. So, I have been on boards in the town of Marshfield, and I'm 80 years old plus. And back in I can't remember the dates, I was the first woman elected as a selectman in the town of Marshfield. After 300, and Mr. Ben over there winking can tell us how long the town has been around, because he's the man. And I just think about all the wonderful things that have happened at the Marshfield Senior Center over a period of time. My favorite thing I have ever done in public service is be co-chair of the new building committee. It was a great honor to me. I've always been interested in buildings and stuff in the past. In fact, I went to UMass in Boston and studied this type of stuff. And I just think that we're jumping into this too fast. There's a lot of people in this room, I know personally because of my background, that we need time to be able to fix this. And I don't think it should be voted on immediately because there's too many people in this room that have a lot to give and have given. And I'm glad I got 2 more years on mine, my uptime. So I was happy I made it for 2 more years. But I still think that we really need to slow down on this. We have to, invite the people and just think about of what goes on at the senior center every single day. I'm sure most of you have been there and you've seen what Carol Hamilton, who's absolutely, in my eyes, the one that holds the place together day and night. And I appreciate your jobs. I've been there, I've done it, and I'd like you to just think about what can happen if this fall goes through tonight or in the very near future. I think you need a committee that can think this out a little more, and I'd be happy to volunteer. So that's all I can say, and I thank everybody for coming here tonight and listening to your problems, which hopefully those could also be resolved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. I can't make out this next name. Claria, the last name, something like that? Can you read that?
It's the last person that signed up to speak. Is there anyone else? Oh, Dawn.
Dawn Clark.
Dawn Clark, yep.
Don Clark, T-Rock Gardens. The first thing I'd like to speak about tonight is I'm here in support of the Purple Heart Proclamation, and I'm hoping that Ms. Simpson and Mr. Darcy will vote yes for it, because sadly, Eric, you've made your position known on proclamation, so I'm not holding out much hope for a yes vote there. The second thing I'd like to speak about is my support for Marshfield Housing Trust for Cecilia Delgadito and Kerry Richardson. I know both of these people. They've served this town for a while, and they're very caring people, and I know they care very deeply about affordable housing in Marshfield. So with that being said, I'd like to support them. And the last thing I'd like to say is my non-support for Joseph Pesovich for the position that he's running for. This is the same Joseph Pesovich who just very recently, in my opinion, filed a bogus complaint to try to get rid of our police chief. It's also the same Joseph Pesovich who in August of 2023 was found guilty by all 3 select board members of misconduct in office. He was voted to be removed by one of the selectmen, and the other 2 voted to give him a verbal warning. So he got off on that. And Joe has, he's come out, he's accused the executive director of Marshfield Housing Authority of, blatantly taking money, hiding money, doing this and doing that, and he's never been able to give a shred of proof of any of that. So for all these reasons, I'm not in support of Joe Pesovich being on any other committees. He doesn't even deserve to be on the Marshfield Housing Authority.
Okay. So with that said,
Excuse me, do you have time for one more? I couldn't get my name on the list. But if you don't, it's okay. I know I'm
I
late.
appreciate it, Diane. We're kind of running time here, so sorry.
Okay.
We're going to go into executive session. The motion will be a move to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to pending litigation where an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30, Section 21A3, to wit, Marshfield versus Commonwealth of Mass, et al., MBTA, Equitable Development versus Marshfield. Ari Bagnall land registration, and then Ari Heasley land registration, and to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property that is discussed in open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the select board pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30, Section 21AG. And return to open session at the close of the executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you. The action item number 1, discussion on open space event structure. If Mr. DeMayo is available,
I'm just gonna, if we need him. You told me to kind of keep it short.
yeah, no, it's, so I just want to say that I appreciate for everybody reaching out an email on the select board. There was a lot of emails regards to everybody's concerns on this, whether they're opposed to this or they didn't like certain things and all that, and it was great to hear from all the residents. I am not ready to add any more to this because I have to sit down and meet with some people and discuss some more things, especially in light of the comments that residents have made, to make sure that this could possibly work or not. So those are my comments on this. Do you have anything to say on it, Steve?
Yes, just quickly, you know, it was on our agenda at our last meeting for a discussion and vote, and we talked about putting it out for public comment to get some feedback and some guidance, and we received a lot of emails from folks, and, you know, they were very respectful and made a lot of really good points. And so, you know, to steal Pam's words from earlier, I think if we do something like this, it'll be good to build it from the ground up and put a committee together, because fair or not, I think the perception some folks had is that, you know, one person with a private company was kind of put in charge of drafting the policy. Whereas I think if people see that it was a committee that was put together and there's a lot of public input along the way, I think that'll generate a lot more buy-in. So I think everyone has really good intentions and they want to have a standardized and consistent process so it's fair for everyone. But I think it would be good to kind of start with a committee and build it up from there to get more public input and buy-in.
Something to consider. Not add another committee to the list. Trish, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just put together a statement. I just want to extend my sincere thanks to the residents who took the time to share thoughtful and constructive feedback on the initial outline for Harbor Park. Your input has been invaluable, and in response, we have revised the form to better reflect the community's concerns and priorities. So I was going to pull it up tonight, but what I think we'll do is we'll just put the updated policy that limits the number of people. I heard numbers was an issue. I forget what else, but the policy, the new policy will be on the website for you to take a look at. And again, we welcome your feedback. That said, I would like to clarify some misinformation that has been circulating. Harbor Park is currently available for rental, and some individuals contribute to the Harbor Park Gift Fund to support its ongoing maintenance. While it's wonderful that Kiwanis Club helps care for the park, we must also consider its long-term sustainability. We've seen firsthand what happens when maintenance funds are not set aside. Our playgrounds are a clear example. The harbor master is present and available to speak to this issue. His department operates this park with limited funds, and while CPC has occasionally provided support, it is not a guaranteed source of funding. At no point has there been any intention to close Harbor Park to the public. The individual assisting me has experience in other municipalities and offered a format that aligns with best practices used elsewhere. My goal is to bring greater organization to processes that have not yet been formalized. The proposed rental policy would ensure that all relevant departments are notified when space is reserved, and it would allow the public to view availability transparently. To be clear, the town of Marshfield is not entering into any agreement with a caterer. I deeply appreciate the many residents who have identified areas for improvement and offered their time and expertise to help strengthen our community. I ran my campaign on a platform of openness and public engagement, and I remain committed to those principles. We are listening, and we ask that everyone approach this dialogue with mutual respect and a willingness to consider all the facts. An open format has been provided for residents to offer suggestions. It is also important to take note that the laws regarding alcohol on town property have changed. These changes will take effect regardless of this proposed structure. And I do know it was brought up that that might be revisited, and that's fine. That's, again, up to the people. Our intent is to ensure that any use of Harbor Park is managed responsibly and that maintenance funding is preserved. I invite you to review the revised schedule and share your feedback. No vote is being taken at this time. We're simply seeking input. So we'll have that on the website, and I know Eric will do a little more digging, and
Yeah, there's a lot more, few more people to talk to on this, especially after hearing the public comment, to make sure that this, to make this work. Unless the citizens have something, change that.
so right now, who rents it, who has rented it? Come on up, yeah. And I know for nonprofit, we have the vigils, we have they just showed the Jaws movie. What I've noticed since coming here is that there's not a lot of structures in place or policies or procedures, and that's all I'm trying to do with this, is bring everything into one place so that everybody can kind of see what's going on. So that's how this came about, and I asked Harbor Master DeMayo if it's being rented, and how many people.
So, well, thanks for having me, and I was asked to be part of the working group to establish this. I just want to let everybody know it wasn't my idea, so I don't want the actions thrown at me. However, the Harbor Master Department, as well as many volunteers, maintain the park. Last town meeting voters voted $7,000 for park maintenance. The park does have a gift account. The park looks absolutely gorgeous down there. It's 1.8 acres of land. As far as the fee structure, that has nothing to do with me. That's not my vote. That's not my place. But I do know the park should be maintained. There should be rules in place. The park currently, I take reservations through the select board. I put them on my calendar. It gets posted to my staff. The staff makes sure the park's clean that day. There was a wedding there last Saturday. And I think there's more events coming as well. Not everybody contributes to the gift account, but the dog bags, the trash bags, the fertilizer, the grass seed, the loom, the flowers, all comes out of somebody's account to make it nice. So yeah, having a fee for the park would definitely ensure that the park is maintained from those funds. As far as the parking, the parking can be tough depending on the time of year. I know that was a concern, but up until now, since 2015, the park looks really good. It's been maintained, and there really hasn't been many problems. Probably 15, 20 events are held there a year. Nothing too significant now, but it's a great piece of land the town has that's utilized, and it ties right into the Harbor Walk. It's an asset to the community.
I don't.
Do you know how many people, when it is rented,
As far as people?
Yes.
It's usually 15 to 30-ish is probably the number. I think some weddings may have 50 for a ceremony, and then they go to another function hall.
Yeah.
But that's probably about the extent of it. Obviously, Lobster Fest is the one year that was going on down there. Outside of that, Jaws in the Park, I think, is like 200 people. And that's probably the biggest ones that are down there. Outside of that, it's smaller groups with the barbecues. The main thing is the pavilion rental, or to use the pavilion for parties and yoga and artwork and things like that. So there's many user groups in the park.
Okay.
But I will say publicly, I do commend the volunteers that make the park what it is, because we can't do it alone. DPW does a great job mowing it on Fridays, and the Kiwanis pay for all the fertilizer. So it is a community partnership down there. It really is. It's not just my staff, it's everybody. And, a lot of people have taken ownership of it, and it shows.
Okay.
Maybe add some.
That's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, discussion and vote on Marshfield Municipal Affordable Housing Trust Board of Trustees terms and appointments. On this one, there was an issue brought forward to us. This is from Karen Horn. Chapter 52, or Section 52, dash 17B of the Housing Trust Bylaw states trustees shall serve for a term of 2 years, except that one less than a majority of the initial trustee appointment shall be a term of 1 year. Trustees may be reappointed for up to an additional 2 terms. The Select Board made the initial appointments to the Housing Trust on 8/31/2023. The appointments were as follows. Fred Monaco, 2-year term. Cody Rowland, 2-year term. Kerry Richardson, 1-year term. Mark Huber, 1-year term. Cecilia Delgadillo, 1-year term. Excuse me. On August 5th, 2024, Kerry Richardson, Mark Huber, and Cecilia Delgadillo were appointed to a second 1-year term. However, the appointments in 2024 should have been for 2 years. As a result, the terms of the trust members are no longer staggered, as a possible amend the appointments from last year to be a 2-year term. So outside of Fred Monaco and Cody Rowland, whose terms are up this year, I think we need to re-vote in regards to Kerry Richardson, Mark Huber, and Cecilia Delgadillo for another term to fulfill the 2-year obligation. Steve, do you have anything to add?
So you're talking about just kind of realigning how the terms are staggered, is what you're saying, so that
Yeah, so last year when we took a vote on it, I guess on record, it was just for 1-year terms. So according to what Karen Horn's telling me in regards to the law, there's supposed to be 2-year terms. So basically, yeah, just add 1 more year on it, and then next year, all 3 of their positions will be up for reappointment.
So you're just looking to basically do a correction so that everything's staggered in compliance.
Yeah, because Fred Monaco and Cody Rowland are up this year, but as it looks right now, the way it is, all 5 of them are up. But it should be just Fred Monaco and Cody Rowland that should be up this year, and that's it. The other 3 will be up next year.
Sure. So you're looking to reappoint these folks, but just correct the length of the terms, basically, is what.
Yep.
Okay. Anything that we're missing, Bob?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, so I guess I'll motion to extend for 1 year Kerry Richardson, Mark Huber, and Cecilia Delgadillo for 1 more year until. Geez, you know something. One thing. When does the terms end?
June 30th.
June 30th. So June 30th. So once again, I move that we extend for 1 more year Kerry Richardson, Mark Huber, Cecilia Delgadillo for one more year, 1 more term that ends on June 30th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right. Now, I think a lot of people here are probably going to be here for the appointments. I think everything else that we have here can wait until after that, from the looks of it. So why don't we just delve right into the board's committee and appointments? So let's see here. Do you guys have anything to say before we start this process? Steve?
I do, yes. So there's been a lot of confusion over this process. Usually we have this wrapped up by the end of June because that's when the terms expire, and there's a lot of people who were up for reappointment and requested to be reappointed who are in a holdover position right now. And, you know, I think since we published the agenda on Thursday and today, you know, we've amended it to include more and more names for transparency's sake, just to comply with open media law, because that's a state Supreme Court ruling that you do have to list the folks, you know, when they've requested to be reappointed and who's applying. And, you know, there are a lot of folks who have been volunteering their time for a number of years on town boards, and, you know, they have a lot of really relevant and helpful experience, and they don't get anything out of doing that. They just want to give back to their town, try to help improve their community, and they're just volunteers. They don't get anything out of doing that. So we have people who have been working hard and doing a really good job, and they're wondering whether they're going to be reappointed or replaced by someone who doesn't have any relevant experience in some cases. And that's usually why historically we break out the reappointments and then new appointments into two separate action items to help to clear that up. So what I would suggest is, two possible routes or a combination of both, where I think there has been so much confusion that I think that we should table this tonight and that we should interview the folks who are applying for these positions. Or one thing that we've done historically is basically folks will apply to join a board or a committee, and that committee will interview and screen those candidates and then make a recommendation to the board. And then in the past, either the liaison from our board will interview those applicants, or we all interview them together in an open and public session. And then people can make the case for why they'd like to be reappointed, or, what they think they could bring to the table as a new appointment. And so, who would know better what it takes to be a volunteer on these boards and what the requirements and responsibilities are than someone who's been serving there for many years, right? Someone who's been serving on the Council of Aging for over a decade is going to know more about what the job entails than we do. So it's really helpful to have them screen the applicants and make a recommendation to the board. So I think that would be very helpful because, some of the names that we have on the list are in our applicant pool, but they're applications from 2, even 3 years ago, so we don't even know if they're still interested. And another reason that it would be helpful to reach out to the boards as well is because they have a much stronger grasp of the makeup of the board and how the terms are staggered, right? So we've seen the emails going back and forth over the course of the past week of someone where it's, well, no, they weren't appointed to a 3-year term, they were filling the remainder of someone else's term who resigned midstream, right? So the committee chairs have been really helpful clearing that up. So I think it would be helpful to kind of give us more time to get organized and straighten this out, because I would wager that a lot of the people that we have listed as an applicant who applied 2 to 3 years ago probably isn't interested any longer. And it would be really helpful to have a recommendation from the committees because they know what it takes. And so you don't have to do what the committee recommends, but it's a helpful tool and resource to us before we vote, because again, there's only so much you can learn about someone from a piece of paper. And some of the applications are more detailed than others, and some people include a resume and some don't. So it really helps to have some feedback from people who have been serving on these boards and have the experience. And then some of the folks who are up for reappointment tonight aren't even full-fledged members. They've been serving as alternates. And they did that so they could build up their experience so that when they did eventually become a full-fledged member, they would have the experience to know what they're doing and hit the ground running and be a really effective volunteer board member. So I think we need to take more time to distill and improve this process. And I think Kate and Jenna are terrific. We really like to have the professional staff that we do. And it's our job to give them clear direction. That's our role. And I'm not sure that we've been doing that. And I think that we can improve this process going forward and standardize it and formalize it so this doesn't happen again. So I think going forward, we should really draft and codify a policy where, right, anytime there's a new application, even if there isn't an opening, that they at least be interviewed by the committee, and then we have a recommendation on file. And then there are some folks too where I think our staff did try to reach out to them, but maybe the email went to their spam folder or they get a million emails and didn't see it. But there are some folks who are up for reappointment who want to be reappointed, but they weren't notified. So I just think there's a lot up in the air right now and a lot of confusion. So I really think it would help us to use our committees as a knowledge base and resource before we take any official action, because there's a lot more information that we need and I think the public needs to see before we take any votes to potentially shake up these boards. So my feeling would be that we should table this tonight and come back when we're more organized and have more information.
I know what you're talking about in regards to some old applications, and I did reach out to many of those people, and some of them I've heard back from either they had some interest or didn't have interest. And some didn't get back to me, so I kind of figure if they didn't get back to you, that's that. I don't disagree with you that the things that need to be tweaked on this process is regards to it. I think my look at it is I think I got a good idea who I I'm looking to have on the boards, but I'm not opposed to, slowing this down and then having a good look at it, you know? My concern is that, we just got a whole bunch of applications today, so I think it would be within our purview of the agenda is that, unless town council says otherwise, that, we take a vote to end the applications, so we're not getting any more, at the last moment. And, either set a date today or set a date and then be done with it, so that way, if we do go forward with what you're suggesting, that, we're not getting applications at the last minute, like we did today before the meeting. Do you have any thoughts there, Trish?
I do. So I guess the process is supposed to start in January. And I had started talking to Jenna and Kate just about how am I supposed to reappoint these people? I don't know them. I didn't reach out to the boards. I was the liaison on because I'm like, well, we're reappointing or we're appointing, so these boards may change. But I started talking to Kate and Jenna how to better organize the process, and they thought it would be better if we looked at that at a later time, like after we got through this, because I know a lot of people are very anxious about the appointments and reappointments. But I have thought about a policy and kind of a report card that the liaison would have for each member of the board so that you could understand who's in there. And then if a new select board member comes in, then I would have information on these people from past people. So, but that's all I have to say. Oh, and also, thank you for speaking on the Council on Aging, because one thing I also feel is that we keep telling people to get involved in government, and the only way to really get involved is to be on committees or boards, and we keep telling these people, no, they're full. So I didn't realize you could do subcommittees or things like that, and if they were interested, you know, that's something else I'd like to hear about, like who they should contact if they're interested in learning more about the Council on Aging, and are there subcommittees that they could be a part of, because I don't have that information. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think we talked about the policy like a month ago in regards to the whole process, and I think that needs to be changed, and I just look at it as, you know, we got Peter is trying to do his best. He's at what, 25 hours a week, and you know, the staff is trying to do their best. Peter's only here so often and everything, so we're trying to manage everything that we can, but we also want to make good, viable decisions in regards to the process and everything that we do. So I'm open to tabling this. It's just that, I guess one is, Bob, would it be appropriate for us to take a vote on setting a date to close the applications?
Yeah, as I was looking at your agendas last week, I think that was one of the problems. You guys just keep on getting more applicants now. I think you need to close the window so you know who your candidates are.
Well, there was a glitch. They were going to some random email, and they found those 10 that were floating somewhere.
Yeah, Kate told me that. But I do think that you should say, okay, no more applications after Wednesday, Friday, whatever day, just set a date, and then those are your candidates.
You got a date, Ryan?
How about end of this week? And town hall closes at 12:30 on Friday, so close of business Friday. I guarantee you that if not every committee chair is watching this meeting right now, they will have watched it by the time it gets posted in the next couple of days, so they can get the word out to their members and their network in the community. Let folks know that if they're interested, to make sure they get their application in by this Friday, and that we'll be looking for them to reach out to and screen and interview some of these candidates and make a recommendation to the board that would be helpful to us, you know? So give us some background on why this person is requesting reappointment and your recommendation as to why they should be reappointed. And then also, if there is an opening or there's another applicant, tell us why you think this person would or would not be a good fit. and we can make that available to the public so that they have that information and background as well. So I think the more information that's out there, the better. So I think what would be good tonight is to set a deadline, a cutoff for applications to any committees. And one new committee that's very important is the Citizen Search Committee for a new town administrator. I think that one specifically is so important and so imperative that we should interview the applicants for the Citizen Search Committee.
Well, that was the one thing, I mean, I already had names, and it was just enough of all the people that came in prior to this meeting, but now we got, I think, like half a dozen more on top of it. And that was one thing I was gonna say, well, should we take up the town administrator search committee, at least tonight? Well, we had enough applicants, but we do have to act certainly on that. I mean, I look at, we have to act on all these in an expedient manner. So, what's the date for Friday? Do you know?
Friday's the 15th.
The 15th? Okay, so,
And Kate, would you just mind just confirming and verbalizing the email address for the select board? The best one to use.
It's probably, I mean, if you guys don't mind getting inundated, the reason why they set up one called selectboard_office, that one just comes to Jenna and I, and they figured that's less emails for you. That's the one that wasn't working. It is working now, so I guess it's up to you guys. If you want to not use that one, if you want to just go with the one that's just select board at Town of Marshfield, and then we all.
I mean, my opinion is I like the select board one,
You like
see
it?
all the
Okay.
communications, yeah.
So selectboard@townofmarshfield.org.
You? You, Steve?
Yeah, selectboard@townofmarshfield.org.
All right, you? You good with it?
And Kate, the most recent version of the PDF that we have online for the application, it has the checkbox for the Citizen Search Committee? Or do we need to update it?
Or I don't think it does. I'm telling people just write it.
Just write it.
We can.
Yeah.
Jenna can update that tomorrow.
Yeah, and people have been handwriting it in anyway, or putting it in the description box, so, and they can just put it in the body of the email too.
Yes.
I just want to clarify, so will we be interviewing for the Citizens Search Committee next meeting?
I'm comfortable with that, but if you guys want more time to, that's fine too. But yeah, I think it would be good to interview people for that committee sooner rather than later.
Yes.
All right, is that it?
Yeah, I think that's everything. I think that gets us through this cycle, and then just, having a standardized policy where we just, let our chairs know that, we're looking for feedback and input, and, we'll just put a spreadsheet together where we keep track of who we've reached out to, who we've heard back from, and then if we're not hearing back from someone, maybe we got a bad email or they changed their number or something like that, but.
All right, so I'm gonna do a motion for the close of town committee applications.
Did you have something?
Yeah, not on that motion. I think you do need to establish a deadline, but you should determine whether you want the chairs on those committees to give you any feedback on candidates or reappointments or new appointments, if you want that.
I think it would be good to have it for both.
Oh, have the chairs speak too
To provide feedback to the board, I mean.
at the meeting?
Your call.
Yeah, I mean, in writing is fine, either or, in writing and in person if they so request, but I'm comfortable getting their feedback in writing.
I think if you would, I don't think you want it at the meeting when we're gonna make the decision on it,
Okay.
because I think it'd be too late
Yeah,
by then. I think if they give us
Okay.
a heads up in regards to, who they recommend prior to that, I think that would be more beneficial to all of us, going forward.
You could ask your committee chairs to give you feedback by next Monday on any of the candidates that have come in, and then you'd have a whole week to think about it.
Well, honestly, Bob, I mean, if we close this out next Friday, and I don't think we could
Maybe Monday.
ask the shitty committees to provide feedback, just
They
the
might not
fact that they're
know
getting
by
all the applications in at that moment.
And, maybe that later that week. But I'm just trying to keep it moving.
Wednesday.
Can I close it on Wednesday?
Yeah. Feedback by Wednesday. I think that's fair.
If you tell them now that you'll have the list to them Friday, which you probably could do, then ask them to give any feedback Wednesday so you can try to make decisions to fill these committees that following Monday. That might be helpful.
Thursday, just Friday morning to compile it, get the list. all the board and committee chairs.
All that you're looking to do is have a recommendation that the board can agree or not agree with.
Is this deadline that you're making, is that for applying for any board or committee, or is that just for the town administrative search committee?
Any committee.
That's
For
deadline for applying for.
Search committee, I think they want to interview the members themselves.
Right. So the deadline is for any applications for any board or committee. We're not accepting applications after Friday
No.
until when? Like,
Friday is the deadline for the 2026 expiration cycle and the TA search committee,
okay,
if that works.
okay.
All right. So do you want to go with next Thursday as a time that we should have the committee chairs respond back to us?
Yes.
What is the date on next Thursday?
Next Thursday is the 21st.
Okay.
Yep, 21st.
Okay, so I'm gonna motion to close the town board committee applications at the end of business Friday at Friday, August 15th, 2025 at 12:30 PM. So I have a second.
Second.
Aye.
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 And I'm gonna have a motion, committee chairs to give feedback to select board on candidates no later than August 21st, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 All right. Is that it? Anybody else have anything else to add after that?
The more the merrier. Huh?
It's clearly showing right now, so see how it goes going forward. All right. Let's see here. You don't want to be a Okay.
Did not see that coming.
All right, so
I would say that in baseball, I always played left field, but really I played left out.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you. So number 3, I was rolling through my head in regards to doing some kind of government efficiency study. And some people I talked to said that may not be a bad idea. And I was thinking that if we were to put a resolution forward for this upcoming town meeting, for maybe next town meeting to vote on, and I wanted to get your feedback on this and see what your thoughts were on it in regards to it, especially with the expenses of the town, and maybe we should do a deep dive in regards to how the towns operate, and maybe there's a way to save money and run the town more efficiently, maybe. Steve, do you have any thoughts on it in regards to doing some kind of maybe hiring somebody to do an efficiency study? And I think where the school committee and the Board of Public Works is an elected board, they may have to approve for this in regards to if they wanted to participate in this, if there had anything. But in regards to the rest of the town, do you have any thoughts in regards to doing some kind of study like this?
Yeah, if we could flesh out the details more, I think conceptually it's a good idea, but be curious to see what the cost would be, what we want the scope of the study to be. So
yeah, that's why I want to have a discussion tonight in regards to if we were to do this, what are we looking for and all that and everything. So yeah, the scope or cost is one, but that's the whole thing is that you're gonna have, we all know it's gonna cost. Just that what do we want to have done in regards to doing the study.
Right, and I'll be curious to see kind of, as we discuss how wide we want the scope of the study to be, right? Is it going to be best management practices will be the scope, or are they going to suggest structural changes to our town government, right? So, for example, Bob, most towns have like a 1 to 3 page indirect policy. Ours is at least 29 pages. So there's a lot of administrative time wasted kind of ironing that out every single year. So that's one example, right? Situate has a 5-member select board, and they're in charge of the DPW. They don't have a board of public works. So would they recommend that we expand the select board to 5 members and merge with the board of public works? Is that a recommendation that we would look for them to kind of make? So, I mean, the scope could get really wide, but I mean, it is fascinating to just have an independent third party say, you know, here are improvements that you could make. I think it'll be fascinating to see how, if we are just looking for day-to-day practices or big structural changes to make our town government more efficient, because we do have a very decentralized town government, which can sometimes make it difficult to move forward, and that's why communication is so imperative. But that's just one example, right? I mean, we have so many peer towns around us to look at. You know, Norwell has a 3-page indirect policy, right? They have a 5-member board as well. So I'm definitely interested in it for sure.
I think you raised a great point, and I really wasn't looking at it that way. I was looking at the operations of the town in regards to each department, how they're operating, what can improve it, but as you mentioned, like, things in the town charter that may help make the town run more efficiently, that's a pretty good look at it, I think, and I guess that's what we get down to, is how far do we want the scope to be? I mean, we could probably, I guess we could ask what it'll cost to do both of them, or we could start with one and then work with the other at another time. It's, all right, I mean, Trish, do you have anything to add?
I think it would be, I think I'd like to see more information, exactly, like kind of spelled out what this company would do, what they'd come in and do, so.
All right, so what you're looking at is have a company submit the areas that they would.
Yeah, or we need to research what exactly, yeah, what they would do for this town. And then I think we should see what a company would come in and do, look at all the areas that they would look at in the town, and then we could talk about maybe the areas we want to focus on. Like if we had something to actually look at that this company would do. Does that make sense?
Maybe like a starting point on something?
Yeah,
Or-
I'm sure they have a website that says we would.
No, I've looked at some of them.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
kind of, I think a lot of companies, they kind of do the same thing, but some of them do have their different niches and
Yeah.
everything. So, I mean, I think there was like 11 companies somebody sent me when I was asking. I was like, hey, you think you could research it? And I think it was about, I want to say about 11 companies that they came up with. When I was looking at them, they seem different in a way in regards to how they.
Well,
do
maybe
things.
if you looked at those companies and chose a few, and then we had a list of what they actually did, and we talked about which areas would be beneficial, at least to start on.
No, it's not a bad idea. That's a great idea. It's at least it gives you a starting point anyways to do it yourself, Steve.
Yeah, we could probably get some sort of proposal that says, okay, if we do, you know, scope A, day-to-day practices, here's the cost. If we do expand to scope B and we look at your government structure, here's an additional cost, and they can just break it out like into tranches.
Yeah.
So we can kind of like shop like a la carte for how expansive we want the scope to be based on the cost.
It's a good idea.
And even
I like
that would
that.
give us a starting point too, if we went with A and they started going through and it was beneficial, we don't have to just go for everything all at once.
Exactly.
Right. Right. All right. I will, I'll see what I can do to come up with more information for that for you, and then I will see what I can provide and see if we can get this ball rolling. Let's see here. Number 4, discussion and vote on proposed STM warrant article to adopt provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 12D.
I gave you a memo on that. Be happy to go over it with you.
Is this the memo you're talking about right here?
Yep. Well, that's the advisory from the ABCC, but I did a very brief memo on it too.
It's, is that the one you handed me earlier?
No, that was the executive session one. I could probably explain it, and it'll be just as.
Just as effective in reading this whole thing from the state?
Yeah.
All right, go for it, Bob.
Okay, so there was recent legislation passed by the state that allows restaurants that have a beer and wine license to trade their beer and wine license in for an all-alcoholic beverage license. And it seems like there was some interest on a statewide level for businesses that have been basically stuck with a beer and wine license to be able to get an all-alcoholic beverage license. So this provision allows them to trade that in, and they're allowed, as long as they continue to be licensed, to hold that all-alcoholic license if they trade it in, if we accept this provision of the general laws. They can't sell it as an all-alcoholic beverage license. They'd have to start again, or whoever bought it would have to start as a beer and wine license, but it gives them an opportunity. And if you decide to allow them to trade that license in, it doesn't count towards the maximum number that we already have. So it's kind of like an extra license without counting against the numbers that we actually issue. And I know for a lot of years we've been over, and we've got restaurants that are stuck with just beer and wine that would love to do that. The only trade-off for them is they can't sell it to somebody else, which is the only thing that would distinguish that from a regular all-alcoholic license. It's only restaurants and pubs that places that serve food and beverages. It doesn't apply to package stores at all. I gave you a draft town meeting article in my memo, and all you would want to do is decide whether to give the people a choice to whether to accept this provision of Chapter 138, Section 12D, which goes to a town meeting vote and would do it in October. The board will also remember we did actually ask the state for 3 additional licenses. I'm not sure that ever passed yet.
I don't think so.
This might resolve that issue for some of our people that have been waiting.
Well, the one that we're waiting on,
John,
how much is that gonna, would that impact this in any way?
it would not, because those would be regular full licenses. So, for example, I knew Don Bravo was one of the premises that only had the beer and wine, and then they had a seasonal all alcohol. If they decided to opt for this and we approved it, they'd get a full alcoholic license. Now, if we got the 3 additional licenses from the state, they could just apply for one of the regular licenses that they could transfer, but they'd be able to sell all alcohol year round. I don't think it's a bad scenario where we've had a lot of interest in the all alcoholic licenses.
How many licenses in town could this impact?
I'm not aware of all the other licenses. Are you okay?
Really, because actually.
Is it just Don Bravo?
Bravo took, Aoyama closed, and Don Bravo took that. So
Oh,
now
okay.
the
So
annual-
they're all set now.
So I think it's just Corner Cafe. It's the only one that this would affect right now. But there's people who are interested in purchasing Aoyama, so what else? So,
Purchasing which one?
what used to be Aoyama.
Oh, yeah.
So they would also, I think for them, if I'm understanding it correctly, they would have to apply first for an annual wine and malt license.
Yep.
Get approved for that and then trade it in.
They could trade it in.
So I guess there would be 2.
So effectively they'll be allowed to, like Kate was saying, apply for a beer and wine license first.
That's right.
Trade in for this. But as opposed to a regular one, they just wouldn't be able to sell it? Is that the
Correct.
limitations on it?
Correct. The only thing they'd be able to transfer is a beer and wine license.
Trade in for the town,
Correct.
to the town for, an all alcohol license, is what you're saying, right?
Yep. They could, if they were selling the business, they could only sell a beer and wine, even if they had an all alcoholic beverage license under 12D.
But then the new person could.
The new
Yeah, the new person have to refile.
They'd have to refile and do it.
Okay. So is this something that has to go to town meeting, or is this something that can be voted on the select board?
It does. It's acceptance of a statute. It does require town meeting approval. Majority vote.
All right, so what you're looking for is just us to vote to approve it to go to a town meeting?
Yeah, put it as a warrant article. I've already drafted the warrant article.
Okay.
Say one thing on the motion. I said package store, it should be, whoever it says package store, it should say restaurant on the motion.
Wine and malt beverage package stores, what should it say?
It should say wine and malt beverage restaurant.
Oh, okay.
I hope it's another hibachi place.
It's halfway through your packet there under item number 4, under tab 4, there's an email from me to you all. Well, it's me to Peter and Jenna and Kate, actually. That's why you maybe didn't see it. It was a potential article to vote to accept this provision.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're looking for us to vote on this to go to town meeting?
Just to put it in as an article and let the voters decide whether to accept it or not.
All right, Steve, you got any comments?
Yes, I think what the state's trying to do is to strike a good compromise, right? Because it's really difficult to open a new business like a restaurant if we're already at our cap for the annual liquor license, right? Like before Aoyama closed, Don Bravo is a Mexican restaurant, and in the winter they were having to make margaritas with malt, which has to have an impact on your bottom line. So they were one of the restaurants that asked us to go to the state to request that we be granted additional licenses. But the moral quandary with like annual licenses for restaurants for their annual liquor license or taxis or things of that nature is how do you help a new business open without hurting the value of the people who purchased an existing license, right?
Right.
Because a lot of restaurants, as their retirement plan, right, part of that like Parachute is selling their annual liquor license to whoever buys their business. Right, so there's always that moral quandary of how do we get more licenses out there so somebody can open a new business and remove that impediment, but not devalue someone who paid a good chunk of change for their existing license. So the fact that we can grant a new annual license, but they can't sell it, is kind of a compromise that resolves that dilemma. So I can see where they're coming from, and I think it makes sense. So I would be in favor of putting this on the town meeting warrant for the citizens to vote on.
Yeah, I think my look at it, as you say it, Steve, is that I think that was a good compromise from all parties. Everybody benefits from it, but there's something that won't impact, like you said, somebody that when they decide to leave the industry that they can cash out on. So I wholeheartedly agree with that thought. Trish, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Okay, I'm going to motion. I move to have town council draft an article for the upcoming special town meeting warrant asking if the town wishes to adopt the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 12D, to allow a wine and malt beverage restaurant license holder to trade in their license for a non-transferable all alcoholic beverage package store license. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can
Yes.
I add on one unrelated thing? I should have mentioned this while we had a captive audience. But it really helps if people in tandem with their application to join a committee, if they also fill out the query form, which is the form you fill out for the background check. So that won't be an issue for reappointments because they already did that when they were initially appointed. But it just helps just to get that out of the way from a paperwork standpoint, because then otherwise your motion to appoint them would be contingent on passing a query background check, which isn't a huge deal. I don't think anyone's ever come back and failed, but it just helps to save a step later on to know.
Well, I thought when you filled out an application, they automatically got a query form.
They're together, but you have to click to open it and fill it out. It's two separate links.
Oh, so you're talking about if you do it on the computer.
Yeah, if they come in and pick up an application.
Yeah, so that's what I was based on. It's like, I know when they came in, you handed them both forms, but when you say on the computer,
There's a link to the application and then there's a link to the query.
is there a way we can do that where if you link, if you do one, yeah.
Yeah. Talk to IT about that.
Yeah, I think if you did that, I think that would smooth the process out with one link. That way they see it right in front of them, not skipping over everything, so.
Perfect, yeah, good point.
It's, all right, Steve, thank you for bringing that up. I didn't realize that in the technical end of things. Discussion and vote to proclaim August 2025 as Purple Heart Month in the town of Marshfield. Steve, any comments?
This is something when we first did it a few years ago was a requirement in order to become a Purple Heart community. So I think it's a nice way to recognize our veterans and Purple Heart recipients. It just takes 2 minutes of our time, and it's just a nice way to honor them and thank them for sacrificing themselves and putting themselves on the line so that we have the freedom to meet twice a month, to have these meetings and publicly deliberate and have public comment and public discussion. So it's just a nice, easy way for us to express some appreciation.
Trish?
I agree. We love our veterans.
Yep, I would wholeheartedly agree with that. That's why I just kind of wonder why we need to vote on this stuff, but, I move to designate August 2025 as Purple Heart Month in the town of Marshfield. Maybe the proclamation into the record, my apologies. Whereas the town of Marshfield, Massachusetts has been a proud supporter of its military veteran population, and whereas the people of the town of Marshfield have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served their country and this community and the armed forces for the good of all. And whereas contributions and sacrifices of the men and women of Marshfield who served in harm's way in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedom and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas citizens of our community have been killed in action while serving in the armed forces have been posthumously awarded the Purple Heart for the ultimate sacrifice. And whereas the citizens of our community have been awarded the Purple Heart for their bodily sacrifice of being wounded in action while engaged in combat, and whereas the heritage it represents is sacred to those who know the price paid to wear the Purple Heart, and whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest American decoration in present use and was created as the badge of military merit on August 7, 1782 in Newburgh, New York by General George Washington. Initially, it was made the purple cloth shaped as a heart with the word merit sewn upon it. And whereas August 7th is nationally recognized as Purple Heart Appreciation Day, and now therefore be it proclaimed that we, the Marshfield Select Board, on behalf of the town of Marshfield, go on record to hereby proclaim Marshfield, Massachusetts as Purple Heart Town, honoring the service and sacrifice of the nation's men and women in uniform that were wounded or killed by the enemy while serving to protect the freedoms enjoyed by all Americans. And also be it proclaimed that we, the town of Marshfield, recognize August 25 as the Purple Heart Month and encourage our citizens to express recognition and gratitude of the people of the Purple Heart recipients. Witness our hand on the seal of the town of Marshfield this day, August 11th in the year 2025. So, get back to the motion again. I apologize for that. I move to designate August 2025 as Purple Heart Month in the town of Marshfield. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I'm going to abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Discussion, vote request for permission to waive zoning fees for the South River Park expansion. This is from Nancy Perica. Susan Karen, Open Space Committee, will be filing a zoning application for the South River Park expansion, 2160 Ocean Street. I'm requesting that the zoning fees be waived, as this is a project on town property. Any comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Any comments, Trish?
No, thanks.
I move to waive all zoning department fees related to the South River Park expansion project. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Number 7. Discussion and vote on one-day common victor licenses for the Marshfield Fair. So this is the Marshfield Fair common victual licenses. The following people have already submitted applications and have been to the Board of Health. Buscino's Footlongs Lemonade, Paul Buscino. Daniel Webster Masonic Lodge, Peter Leonard. Mr. B's Kettle Corn, Brian Dansurso, I think his last name is. Bruno's Fried Dough, Margaret Oaks. Sabrosa, Venezuela, Inc., Isabel Fernandez. Willow Tree Donuts, Deanne Henry. Star Treats, LLC. Travelers on Tour, Min Tew, if I have that right. Anna's Fried Dough, Karen O'Connor. Fiesta Shows, John Flynn. 2 for 1, Joed DeLaurie. Cabby Shack, Newport Jerky, Lisa Woodward. Chocolate Moonshine, Frank Suma. Bumblebee Milk Tea, Yungang Wang. Immaculate Concessions, Christian Valenti. Tim's Concessions, Tim Tibbetts. J&R Concessions, Raymond Hashim. Sugar Tang Incorporated, Yuxix and Tan. Mike's Sausage and French Fry, Michael Raffalo. Lobster Love, Stephen Coe. Duxbury Lions Club, Marie Van Slick. St. Mary and St. George. Chick-fil-A, GSTV Southern New England. That's it. So, I move to grant temporary common victual licenses for the Marshfield Fair to the aforementioned vendors and any additional applicants contingent upon receipt of necessary paperwork and fee and approval of the Board of Health. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote for permission to hold block party on Jedediah's Path. To whom it may concern, this is dated July 31st, 2025. To whom it may concern, residents of the Jedediah's Path, Oatman Way neighborhood are seeking approval from the Select Board to hold a block party on Sunday, September 14th, 2025, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The plan will be to gather at the end of Jedediah's Path at the cul-de-sac. We expect to place some easily removable cones in front of the houses numbers 143 and 148 to reserve the end of the street for foot traffic only. Impacted residents are aware of the plan and are supportive participants. We have also spoken to the Marshfield Police Safety Officer and will fully comply with his concern for keeping the street clear in the event of necessary access by emergency vehicles. We will stay mindful of this guidance as tables, chairs, and tents are set up and broken down. Thank you for your consideration of this request. Sincerely, Jedediah's Path, Oatman Way neighborhood. Any comments, concerns, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
I move to grant permission for Anna Infrato, Lisa Colella, and Maureen Benzina to hold a block party on Jedediah's Path on Sunday, September 14, 2025, from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m., contingent on positive recommendations from the police and fire departments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote on application for temporary liquor license, the Sangria Lady. Name of applicant, Barry Lynn Wise. The Sangria Lady LLC, mailing address 935 Great Plain Ave, number 285, Needham, Mass. 02192, I think that says. Date of event 9/20/25. Hours of event 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Location event Marshfield Fairgrounds. Description of event community event by chamber to raise funds for local charities, support local businesses. Wine and malt beverages only. Copy of tip certification, and it's going to be outdoors. That's it. And everything else is in line. Insurance. Any comments or questions, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish, any comments or questions?
No.
I move to grant temporary wine and malt beverage license to Barry Lynn Wise, the Sangria Lady LLC for Lobster Fest at the Marshfield Fairgrounds on September 2025 from 12 p.m. till 5 p.m. contingent on positive recommendations of the police and fire departments and proof of liquor liability insurance name of the town of Marshfield as additionally assured. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote for application for temporary liquor license, Decanted Wine Truck. Julia Waldezek, it's the name of business, Decanted Wine Truck, located at 10 Technology Drive, Unit 218, Hudson, Mass. 01749. Hours 12 to 5 p.m. Location Marshfield Fairgrounds for Lobster Fest. All alcohol checked off all alcoholic beverages. Liquor license, liability insurance, name and time as additionally assured is checked off. Copy of tip certification checked. Detailed written event narrative is checked, and the event will be held outdoors. I move to grant temporary wine and malt beverage license to Julia Waldezak, Decanted Wine Truck for the Lobster Fest at Marshfield Fairgrounds on September 2025 from 12 p.m. till 5 p.m. contingent on positive recommendations from the police and fire departments, a proof of liquor liability insurance, name of the town of Marshfield, as additionally assured. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote on application for temporary entertainment license, Goodwill Hunters. Kim Maruka, 28 Rayfield Road, Marshall, Mass. Wrexham Beach parking lot, the location event description, annual duck derby, Date and time event Saturday, September 21st, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Entertainment will be recorded music. Estimated number of persons to attend, about 150 to 200. This will be our 10th Derby event at this location. We have never had a complaint. Will there be a tent? No. Cindy Castro will open the snack bar. Thank you for your consideration to this request. Entertainment will include a DJ, free games and prizes for kids led by Marshall High School cheerleaders and the Derby itself, overseen by Harbor Master. I move to grant a temporary entertainment license to Kim Aruka Goodwill Hunters for the annual Duck Derby at Wrexham Beach Parking Lot on Saturday, September 21st, 2025, from 8:30 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. Contingent on positive recommendations from the police and fire departments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion vote request permission to hold DWS Great Pumpkin Run 5K. Dear Mr. Kelly, dated June 23rd, 2025. Dear Mr. Kelly, Mr. Darcy, and Mr. Simpson, I write to request a road race permit in order to conduct the 12th annual DWS Great Pumpkin Run 5K road race on Sunday, October 19, 2025 at 10 a.m. The race is being organized by the Daniel Webster School PTO. The race will start and finish at Daniel Webster School. The course as follows: start at Daniel Webster School, right onto Ocean Street, right onto Chandler Drive, left onto Gates Road, left onto Chandler Drive, left onto Frisbee Road, right onto Pierce Road, right onto Chandler Drive, left onto Anderson Drive, left onto Hollow Road, right onto Anderson Drive, left onto Chandler Drive, and left through the easement of DWS. The DWS Road Race Committee appreciates your consideration for this request. We have had successful events from the past 11 years and look forward to doing it again. If you have any questions or further information, you can contact me. Calling Couples. Got a map here showing everything. Fire has no issue. I don't think police have any issue. So, any comments or questions, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
Are you gonna run it?
Maybe I would put the date on, the date in there then to remind me, huh?
It runs through my neighborhood, so I'll go out and cheer for it.
Gonna cheer for me or throw eggs at me?
That could be your retirement.
I think we should all run it.
You know something? It's a mistake of mine, to be honest with you, because like you see all these events come up, and it's like, but the whole thing is that you get done. It's like I should have put that into my reminder of these events coming up, and it's like, so as you guys say that, I will try and keep it in mind to put this in. And
I'll have Kate send us a reminder tomorrow.
Tomorrow for October?
Yeah. Put it in your calendar.
Anything else to add on to that, Steve?
No, thanks.
I move to approve the request of Calling Couples for permission to hold the 12th annual DW's Great Pumpkin Run road race on Sunday, October 19, 2025, beginning at 10 a.m., contingent on a positive recommendation from the police and fire departments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote request permission to hold annual buddy walk. Good afternoon. I am writing regarding our third annual Buddy Walk at Harbor Park in Brant Rock on October 5th, 2025. The Buddy Walk is an event held by the Massachusetts Down Syndrome Congress and the National Down Syndrome Society to help raise money and celebrate all individuals with Down syndrome across the country. I've been working in conjunction with both groups over the last 2 years and help share the beauty of the Down syndrome community to promote inclusiveness to all individuals with disabilities, including visiting Washington, D.C. to speak with our senators and House of Representatives to ensure the rights of people with Down syndrome remain a top priority. In May 2023, my son Benny was born and diagnosed with Down syndrome, and since that time, the support we have received from the MDSC and the NDSS has been invaluable. Each year, the MDSC puts on the Buddy Walk event to raise money for programs for people with Down syndrome. These funds help to better their lives and provide them with the same opportunities other members in the communities are offered. There are two ways to participate in the Buddy Walk. The first is to attend the MDSC event in Wakefield, and the second is to hold a walk in your own community, which is what I am looking to do on October 5th. Over the last week, I have spoken with the Marshfield Harbor Master Michael DeMeo and Officer Lucetti, who gave their full support behind our event and have stated no concerns. This event will begin at 11 a.m. on Sunday, October 5th, where we, approximately 120 people, would gather in Harbor Park. The route would be approximately 1 mile and run from Harbor Park left down the sidewalk, down Dyke Road, right at the crosswalk labeled Ocean Street on Google Maps, right down the Esplanade onto Island Street, right onto Central Street, and concluding back to Harbor Park. I've also attached a map of the walk to this email. I will be providing lunch, cookies, and non-alcoholic beverages, all at no charge to guests for the event. This event will conclude at 2 p.m. on 10/5/2025. Sincerely, Danielle Corvez. I think it's Corvez. So, shows a little map here, and no issues from the harbor master, and I don't think there's gonna be any issues from anybody on this. No issues from fire. So, okay. Comments or concerns, Steve?
Hey, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I just, we've had 2 successful years, the past 2 years. Last year we raised.
You want to come up and talk?
Oh, sure.
On the microphone, so everybody can pick you up and see what you have to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So last year, we raised about $6,700 for the MDSC. We had great community involvement from Tumble Fund. A lot of the businesses in Brant Rock provided places to hang the flyers that I had, so it was a great community event. We had different teams that had joined the MDSC. That Wakefield is far from Marshfield, so they came to our event instead and brought their family members and individuals with Down syndrome, so it was great to get involved. Also, Senator O'Connor, who I met with earlier in the year, is planning on hopefully attending as well, so I'm excited. It's a wonderful event, and we've been lucky to have great weather in October the past 2 years, so fingers crossed that it's approved and we have great weather again.
So you've been doing this for 2 years?
Yes. So my son was born in 2023, and he had open heart surgery and he was 2 weeks old. So it was a little far to try and get to Wakefield with such a small infant. So we planned it the first year, and it's just been wonderful and gotten bigger since then. So this will be our 3rd year.
I was just going to ask you, over at least 2 years, you've seen the crowd?
Yeah, it's been incredible. The first year we had about 25 people. Last year we had almost 100. So it's the best community that I never knew I wanted to be a part of. So they're amazing to Marshfield and to everywhere on the South Shore.
I would anticipate you would probably, I'm looking at probably double it this year, but we'll see, I guess, right?
That would be wonderful.
Another event for us.
Yes.
How do people register?
So you can register through the MDSC website, and I have the donor page. Is our team name is Benny's Buddies. So you can register to either attend as a team member and you get a t-shirt, or you can just show up and you can donate that day, or you can donate online, or you can just come and have fun and be accepted into the community that we've come to love.
Anything else? Want to add anything, Steve?
No, thank you for all your good work and for bringing out the best in our community and bringing them together. And
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I expect this, obviously weather pending, but you should have a good turnout without a doubt and lots of support. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. So,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, I move to approve the request of Colleen, excuse me, I'm reading the wrong one. I move to approve the request of Danielle Corvez. Am I saying your last name right? Corvez? Corvezi?
Yeah.
Corvezi, for permission to hold the 3rd annual Buddy Walk of Harbor Park in Brant Rock on October 5th, 2025, beginning at 11 a.m., contingent on a positive recommendation from the police and fire departments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion and vote on application for temporary liquor license, H. Cole Club. So L. Jarvis, H. Cole Club, H. Cole for the Marshfield Food Pantry, mailing at 10 Central Ave, Unit 414, Hammer Rock, Mass. Hours event 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Location event Marshfield Boys and Girls Club Pavilion. Description fundraising event for the Marshfield Food Pantry. All alcoholic beverages checked off. Liquor liability for the town. There's an additionally short checked off. Copy of tips service checked off. This event will be held outdoors. There's a copy of certificate of liability. There's an advertising. Pantry Jam, Saturday, August 23rd, 2025, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. A fundraiser for the Marshfield Food Pantry hosted by the Marshfield Boys and Girls Club at the Molly Fitzgerald Pavilion. Tickets are $75 each, includes catering by Age Cole plus cash bar. There are sponsorship opportunities available in addition to a silent auction at 37 Priors Drive, Marshfield, Mass. And then we have the tips certifications, Michelle Jarvis, Charles E. Spencer. I think that's it. I would say in light of the issue of the Harbor Park, I'd say that anybody that wants to get to know Ms. Jarvis should attend this event. And I think you'll be quite surprised how nice lady it is and how into the community she is. Steve, do you have any comments or concerns?
Yes. From the work that you've both done with Miss Jarvis, do you recall it? She has a state caterer's license, right?
12C?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then okay, perfect. I was just double checking the language of the motion because depending on whether or not she is, it could only be a beer and malt versus all alcohol.
Oh, yeah, she has a 12,
Yeah.
12, right? I'm correct, a 12C, right?
Yeah, if she has an all alcoholic license in the state, she's okay.
Yep. All good.
Do you want me to ask a condition of her to provide it, or?
Nope, it's fine.
You're good?
Okay.
I think she has one. I think I remember her saying she has that license. Because otherwise you'd have to issue it either to the food pantry or to the Boys and Girls Club for all alcoholic beverages. Because you can only issue an all alcoholic beverages temporary license to a nonprofit.
So they're the exception to the rule, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they're an exception because they have a state license.
Right.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as my conversation with Elda, she is a 12C and it's up to date as far as I know, so, all right, we're all good? Trish, any comments or anything?
Nope. They have a lot of great silent auction items, just saying, that are gonna be at this event.
Oh, for the food pantry?
Yes.
The event and everything like that?
Yep.
Okay. Maybe it's another date, I'll have to put that on my phone and see if I can make it. If I remember. I moved to grant a temporary all-alcoholic beverages license to El Jarvis Age Code Club LLC for a fundraising event for the Marshfield Food Pantry at the Marshfield Boys and Girls Club Pavilion on August 23rd, 2025, from 7 p.m. through 10 p.m. Contingent on positive recommendations from the police and fire departments and proof of liquor liability insurance naming the town of Marshfield as additionally insured. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Discussion and vote on applications for a temporary liquor license, Break Rock Brewery Company. Please find, dear members of the select board, please find enclosed the requested materials for consideration for a one-day beer and wine license for the Marshfield Community Rib Cook-Off. Materials enclosed, one-day license application, $50 fee. COI, name in the town of Marshfield, tips certifications, Southwood, Brady, Callahan, and events narrative and set up below. The family-friendly event run by a registered nonprofit will be held at the Marshfield Fairgrounds. There is a barbecue rib competition with funds raised from the event being donated to local charities. We anticipate a similar setup as last year, in which Break Rock Brewing was set up inside the fairground, fenced in with barriers and signs limiting alcohol consumption to the event area. Should the board need additional information from Break Rock Brewing, I can be reached via the information below. Should the board need any additional information about the event details? Jay Southwood. So they have their applications, Jay Southwood, Break Rock Brewing, 534 Victory Road, Quincy, Mass. 02171. Hours event 12 to 7. Marshall Fairgrounds, 140 Main Street, Marshfield. Description event, barbecue rib competition to benefit local charities. Wine and malt beverages only, checked off. Marshfield is additionally assured, checked off. Copy of tip certification, checked off. Details written, event narrative, checked off. It's outdoors. Insurance is in here, and tip certification documents. Questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish, question or comments?
No, thanks.
I would say that, I haven't been to one of these events, or at least the Marshall Rib Cook-Off, and the Lobster Fest is gonna have a new home at the moment, so it'd be interesting how well that goes, which I think it should go, I believe, very well for them in that aspect, but everybody that I talk to tells me the Rib Cook-Off is something to visit and participate in, so it's, there's another date I gotta make sure I put it in to make, because I've yet to make one of these as well, so. I moved to grant a temporary wine and malt beverage license to J. Southwood Break Rock Brewing at the Marshfield Rib Cook-Off at the Marshall Fairgrounds on September 6, 2025 from 12 o'clock p.m. until 7 p.m. and at the Lobster Fest at the Marshfield Fairgrounds on September 2025 from 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. contingent on positive recommendations from the police and fire departments and proof of liquor liability insurance name of the town of Marshfield is additionally insured. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion vote on request, permission to hold Green Harbor Beach family events. Monday, August 4, 2025. Dear Selectmen, the Green Harbor Beach Association would like to inform you that we will be continuing the Green Harbor family events on Green Harbor Beach over Labor Day weekend. A copy of the event schedule is enclosed. These events are on Saturday, August 30th, Sunday, August 31st, 2025. And we will secure the police detail for our annual costume parade and Peter Igo Memorial 2-mile race. So, all the approvals look like that are in here. Comments or questions, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish, comments or questions?
No, thanks.
I move to grant permission to the Green Harbor Beach Association to hold their Labor Day weekend events on Saturday, August 30th and Sunday, August 31st, 2025, contingent on positive recommendations from police, fire, and beach departments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote on application for annual peddler's license, William Nash. William Nash, 1093 Ocean Street, Marshfield, Mass. Independent slush cart, Richie's Italian Ice. Type of business, slush vendor with cart and umbrella. Hours of operation 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Looking to operate at the Fieldston Beach entrance near the seawall. Sign William Nash. When they got a peddler's license, Bob, they can kind of operate anywhere in town, right? They're not. If he by him filling this out and us approving it, we limited to him to Fieldston Beach.
Is that where they're asking to be limited?
Looking to operate at the Fieldston Beach entrance near the seawall in regards to his application.
I think you ought to have them pick a specific location at that beach. You know,
It's probably at the opening.
I would assume at the opening. You put up.
I mean, he can set up anywhere, or do we have to approve?
Well, he can't set up right in the middle. You want him to put on the side, like we.
No, I get that, but I mean, when he's got a peddler's license, he can operate anywhere in
A lot of
town.
times we put, like, we would put a specific location for this and then.
And hours.
And at other events in the town of Marshfield with permission of the event organizer, like if, I don't know, he's a slush cart, so, but like Stellwagen sometimes has food trucks and stuff like
Doesn't
that.
the Bertoni fellow do the same type of thing? Be
He-
given the
yeah.
same license?
His says, you know, where he's located, but then it also says and at other events, because he goes to Levitate,
Right.
so.
You can do
It's
that.
up to you if you wanted to word it that way. we could do
If
that.
he's only asking at the Fieldston entrance, that's fine.
I mean, that's all. So I just want to make sure that
He can always, if he wants to.
He
do
can
that.
always.
he can back and change if he wants, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so this thing is clearly states that just wants to operate at the beach entrance. So, looking at his application, I will. Yeah, you have it right in there. So, all right, but that's where he's going to operate from. So, I move to. Questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish, question, comment?
Thanks.
Move to grant an annual peddler's license to William Nash, Richie's Italian Ice, for a mobile food cart to operate at the Fieldston Beach entrance near the seawall. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, aye. Sorry.
Discussion of vote and appointment to the North River Commission. Jake Cyrus. I've worked at Mary's Boat Livery, Rope Marine for the past 15 years. I am currently a general manager. I care about Marshall's waterways and want to protect them for generations to come. Okay, so there was a vacancy. So this has already been posted for the 2-week term there. Kate, did write an email to us, something really different than what he put in, so, okay. I move to appoint Jake Cyrus to represent the town of Marshfield on the North River Commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote on request permission to accept donation, animal control. Questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No, thanks.
I move approve acceptance of a donation to the Marshall Animal Shelter in the amount of $500 from the Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts, Troop 77471. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 I think that's it. Unless you two think otherwise. Executive session is done. I have everything else checked off as far as I can tell. So I guess it's just time to adjourn. I motion to adjourn this meeting on August 11th. Anyone got a time? What, 8:17?
8:17.
Move to adjourn the select board meeting of August 11, 2025 at 8:17. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your week.